if a project is done, so after that, post-implementation monitoring of a project requirements in an EIS was implemented. Second is project impact audit. So this is to determine the actual impacts of a project independent of the predictions made. That means what the predictions were made and what are the actual impacts. That is predictive technique audit. To assess the prediction made in the EIS and the prediction methods used by comparing actual outcomes with forecasted ones. In this we do that compare the actual outcomes and the forecasted which we have forecasted before the project implemented. Before moving, we will discuss about the difference between monitoring, survey and surveillance. So first is monitoring. What is the monitoring? A long-term standardized measurement program involving observation, evaluation and reporting of part of the environment in order to define standards and trends. And second is survey. So what is the survey? Survey is a finite duration thing, an intensive program to measure, evaluate and report the quality of part of the environment for specific purpose. This is for specific purpose only. And third is surveillance. Surveillance it is a continuous process. We can't break that, and specific measurement program involving observation and reporting for the purpose of environment management and operational activities. Then we move on to environmental modeling. So what is a model? A model is a representation of real-life problems or situations. It copies significant attributes of real-life prototype, but is simpler and easier to build, change or operate. Suppose a power plant, if we want to see if we change something in power plant input, then what is the change in output? So the actual, if we change in actual power plant, that will be too much costly. So what we do is we build a model for that, and we change the inputs in the model and see what is the outcomes of the model. So they can be applied to situations or systems which are both existent or non-existent. Model can be real life or which we are thinking of or hypothesis based. Model can be constructed from logic or rational assumptions, scientific theories, and information about similar situation of operation. So there are three types of models mainly. Identity model. This is which are simple attributes to prototype. Example of model replica or a rocket propulsion, or you can see in model rocket you can see how the side it will get together or something like that. Then second is analog models, where some aspects of the model are analogous to prototype. Also they differ physically. And they can differ physically from the actual project. The model can be differ physically. And third is symbolic or mathematical model. So in this describe physical situations using abstract representations such as diagram, equation, set of calculation or computer programs. So an example of analog model is where the waterway or underground water can be similar to electricity. And the accuracy of the model depends upon the following in order of importance: amount of data used to build and operate the model, experience or skill of the analyst, and third is quality of the model. So quality of the model is important. Then we will discuss two types of models: forecasting modeling and growth type modeling. The scope of forecasting technique is limited, and additionally all forecasts can be invalidated by some drastic events such as natural disaster. So a forecasting model, if we forecast for something 10 years that the population will increase like this, if a certain disaster comes in that area, so that's why I am saying it can be invalidated by some drastic events. Then some forecast or data needed among others to make a forecast of information on the situation being forecast, and secondly, a full scientific model based on physical description and theory, such as a computer model using weather and climate prediction.
Someone to summarize, it's one way traffic, sir. Only you know how to fly. No, you ask Google to summarize.
Now discuss about environment management system technique. Unit 8. At first, environmental modeling. It includes information of particular environment, and then post-monitoring section, implementation audit, project impact audit, predictive technique audit are the parts, and then we discussed about monitoring. It's a long-term analysis of environment, then survey. It's for finite division, then surveillance. It's a continuous process, not discrete. Then we discussed about environmental modeling. At first, what is model? It is a representation of real life problem. It copies significant attributes of a real prototype, and it can be constructed by logic, rational and scientific theory. And then types of model: iconic, analog and symbolic. And accuracy of the model, it depends on amount of data used to build the model, quality of the model, and experience or skills of the analyst. Then when we discuss about forecasting model, it is used for the drastic events such as natural disaster, floods, etc. Thank you, Mahesh.
Thank you both. So, moving to our mathematical model. So, the forecasting model. Mathematical models such as linear, multiple, and non-linear regression are used for forecasting the future based on past information. If we have past information, then we can, based on that data, we can predict the future or forecast the future about something. And simple regression techniques are useful to establish a relationship between the value and time, which can be extrapolated to make predictions. Then smoothing techniques help reduce the variability of data, and spreadsheet programs for computer now offer facilities for regression, time generation, and smoothing. When data availability is limited, one of the right models is the cost model. So, growth modeling. In growth modeling, you have two types: exponential growth modeling and logistic growth modeling. Exponential growth modeling occurs in situations where the increase in some quantity is proportional to the amount currently present. The growth can be predicted either as discrete function, i.e. year by year, or as a continuous function. So this is an example. Suppose the present population of the city is 1 million and it grows by 2% per year. The population in the following year will be 10,20,000. Then after 2 years, it will be 7,42,000. So and so on. Mathematically, we can represent it with this formula: population in a year t plus 1 is equal to population in year t plus growth rate multiplied by population in year t. Then second, we have logistic growth modeling. The logistic curve can also be used to introduce another useful concept in population biology for maximum sustainability age of an ecosystem. Now, maximum sustainable age is the maximum rate that individual can be harvested or removed without reducing the population size. That is, in biological terms, certain microorganisms grow with certain population speed. If we remove some population with each growing year or each growing month or day, then how much we have to remove that existing population will not be affected by it. So that's what is the maximum sustainable age. And this is the logistic aspect as a limitation on population. So population size and time, growth of the increases exponentially as population grows and resources are utilized. Then after some time, growth declines because of the limited resources.
might ask you to summarize. Whoever comes late now, you ask him to summarize. Rachi has come now. Summarize. Chapter 10. Yeah? See, she missed so much, no? Whether she knows that much, you should make sure, no, as a teacher. Is it correct or wrong? So next Mohan will come. You will do the same thing. Mohan, when he comes, no, you will ask him to summarize. From the beginning till whichever slide you are in. Okay, now we will follow this, okay? From now on, strictly. What serving? You are serving? You came late, that's why I asked. Yes, Prachi. Start.
The chapter he is presenting is environmental management techniques, which is unit 8. So it consists of environmental monitoring. Environmental monitoring is the study which often requires information on physical, chemical, and biological economics. And it consists of monitoring, survey, and surveillance. Then comes environmental modeling. The environmental models can be classified into iconic models, analog models, symbolic or mathematical models. And then comes the growth model. So there are two important methods in growth modeling: exponential growth modeling and logistic growth modeling.
That's all. Hey, she didn't do properly. Ask her to repeat. Ask her to repeat properly. No, if you are considerate, India will be like this only. You want India to change or not? Then do.
Environmental monitoring is the environmental studies require information on physical, chemical, and biological, economic, and social aspects of particular environment. And monitoring involves a sample of air, vegetation, and soil. Then environmental modeling is the representation of real-life problems or situations, and it copies significant attributes of real prototype, and it is simpler and easier to build. Different models are basically basic tools in science, engineering, business, and various forms of planning. Essentially, models allows us to extrapolate from the existing systems and knowledge to analyze potential situations. And the models can be classified into iconic model, which has similar attributes to the prototype. And analog models are where some aspects of model are analogs to the prototype, and although they differ physically. Third is symbolic or mathematical model, which describe physical situation using abstract representation such as diagrams, equations, etc. So, first is the mathematical model is this type of mathematical model are which uses logical relationships, rules, variables, equations, parameters, and algorithms. So with the help of mathematical model, we can model are purpose-built for the particular application or general models which often use proprietary computer programs. Example of such models are stormwater management model. Accuracy of such models depends on three characteristics, which are amount of data used to build, which kind of a data is used and what amount of data is used, experience or skill of the analyst, how much experience the person who is doing analysis is, and the quality of the model. The quality of the model which is used. Then forecasting model is to, as we can understand by the name, it is the forecasting technique, and because it is a forecasting technique, it is limited. And the factors which we need to keep in mind while doing this are information on the situation being forecasted, preferably past records of the main factor of interest are the related factor. And a systematic forecasting may use such mathematical models such as linear, multiple, and non-linear regression relating future values to the past record or time series of values. Then comes the growth model. Growth model is, there are two important methods in growth modeling. First is exponential growth modeling and second is logistics growth modeling. Exponential growth occurs in situations where an increase in some quantity is proportional to the amount of current present, which can be mathematically represented as the population in year t plus 1 is equal to population in year t plus growth into population in the year t. Then logistic curve can also be used to introduce another useful concept in biology such as maximum sustainable yield of an ecosystem. Maximum sustainable yield and maximum rate that individual can be harvested without reducing the population size.
Here summarize what we have listened till this, right?
No, the purpose is they have missed that much, no? To make sure they know that much, I have suggested this.
Thanks for inviting me to learn way. So, you might have started with the introduction of environmental management techniques, starting with the environmental monitoring, and later on, the environmental modeling, and how it is considered in mathematical modeling way, and also if there is a forecast modeling, there is also growth modeling, which has been taken care. I think sensitivity is the other thing.
So, we move are counted by their sensitivity. Test of sensitivity is whether percentage change in an input factor produces a higher or lower change in output. So it is a technique which we can check a model or some project model that we keep some parameters when we build a model. So we change the certain percentage input parameter. So we see what are the changes in the output. So that is what causes sensitivity. If a percentage change of input parameter is much higher, so it is much more sensitive, and if the percentage of input parameter is low with the compared to output, so it is less sensitive. So it is a powerful yet simple technique for determining the effects of individual factors and their variations on the overall result of an analysis. It is useful to carry out sensitivity analysis at the preliminary stages of a large study to identify which of the factors involved have the greatest bearing on the results. So we move on to next section, application of the remote sensing and GIS. Satellite remote sensing integrated geographical information system technology provides a tool for addressing the issue of spatial reference in enhancing the quality of life and sustainable development. So what is remote sensing? Something sensed by remote, or if it is sensing something from afar, so it is called remote sensing. So the satellite remote sensing is satellite is capturing images from the space daily. So it is called satellite remote sensing, and geographical information system is a computer-based system, computer-aided decision support and planning tools which integrate data from maps, which is spatial data captured from satellite or aerial images or other things, and other auxiliary data such as attribute data for a geographical area of interest. They can be used to create and maintain geographic databases and are eminently suited for what-if analysis in any planning related activity. So GIS applications are developing rapidly as we move on. The technology is developing, and a GIS application can provide many simulated results which helps in making informed decisions. So we can make a model for all the prediction model in GIS also, which we can see the likely scenario for the next future 10, 20, 30 or 40, 50 years. So it is an example of remote sensing what we have done. It is the left image is the land surface temperature of Bengaluru city, and the right is the land use of Bengaluru city. So we can see that from our home or in our system we can categorize the Bengaluru city in different tags such as vegetation, filter, water body and barren, and we can also calculate the land surface temperature of the whole city or from just sitting in a system. So with help of these parameters we can this helps in any project for how much suitable a certain land is for the project.
Suppose I am rural, so how I come to know the GIS study? How it can be? GIS study says that.
GIS?
Yeah, what is GIS? So suppose I am just a rural, I have no any idea about the GIS. What is GIS? How it can be used?
GIS is computer-based system. It is a collection of systems such as the software, hardware, peoples, or the data. It is called GIS. So the system and there are software based on GIS such as QGIS or RGIS, and the data from.
Please, I said I am just a ruler. I do not know about this. So you are saying about GIS and those things. So first, I want to know what is GIS. What are the sensors which takes some of the you say pictures or those things. So how it takes some of the sensors which recognize or take those spatial data or something. So how it works?
So how to work? So
And something should be there to capture those.
So first is that sun, as sun shows rays of
geographical information system.
yeah, that is a combination.
Yeah, the combination.
Yeah.
So it says the geography, land, water, the elevations, water bodies, all the geographical information is captured in the GIS system,
Yeah.
which we use latest technology, that is satellite. By satellite images, we capture the pictures and we identify water bodies, the dry land, all various geographical informations.
Thank you.
So what?
He
Yeah.
is satisfied. What? You expected him to answer.
नॉर्मल नॉर्मल होते हैं तो कुछ भी नहीं होता है हाँ हाँ वैसे ही होता है ना
That is, if sun is emitting solar radiation, so this is how remote sensing works, and it is a part of GIS. So remote sensing it is what that sun is emitting its radiation into the earth, and earth is reflecting or emitting the radiation of sun absorbed or reflected by earth. So it is collected by the satellite. So satellite is capturing the data or the radiations reflected or emitted by us. Then it is later stored in DN or digital numbers in a sheet to databases. Then with that sheet we can move further to
So
analyze.
what are the things which is reflected and how it senses it?
Earth surface, the different topography or different types reflect differently the radiation.
So it reflects all the radiations and captures.
Some absorb, then later we emit them. Some reflect directly. If we say, suppose the trees are reflecting green color, so we can see the green barrier, and it is reflecting NIR also. So when we do a string, we do the false color composition, in which NIR comes first. Just that NIR is not visible by that color. And
What happens in the absence of sunlight? What happens in the absence of sunlight?
absence of sunlight. So we can do remote sensing by alien images or drones and
So there are two types of remote sensing, active and passive.
active and passive.
You are talking about only one more.
No,
What about other kind?
I said the first is the passive remote sensing, which captures the radiation emitted or reflected by the earth. But in active remote sensing, the satellite stores its own radiation and then it reflects back to the satellite and it captures it and shows it. The SAR, as you can see, the SAR images or it shows the radio waves and captures it. So this is active remote sensing. Then when the carrier throws its own radiation and captures it, it is called active remote sensing. GIS also helps in addressing some basic questions. Where is it is about a city area or industrial area. Where is the most polluted area in the industrial area and how much is it the total? Where is the exact location of the polluted rivers and total numbers of industrial buildings along the river? How many premises are violating the environmental norms and where are the projects located that need to be considered in an environmental impact assessment. Moving on to next section, it is environmental profile. So it is the first project activity to be undertaken for a city level project implementation. Environmental profile brings together information about the city's development sector and activities, its environmental resources and hazards and management system in a way that allows a systematic analysis. It also identifies the different groups, organizations and stakeholders which are important and often conflicting interest. So two main purposes of EPR: to provide a systematic overview of a city's development activities and how they interact with the city environmental resources, and secondly, to identify and mobilize stakeholders by being a source of relevant information and a process of its preparation. The second, we can see how to mobilize stakeholders such as public or the government. So we can propose a project so to convince them if they have conflicting interest. So convince them how they can come on to the same conclusion. Therefore, then chapters of environmental profile are city introduction. It is the first chapter. Development settings, environment settings, environmental management. The first is city introduction. This will give a highly summarized and selective introductory information about the city, including its geography and physical setting, social characteristics and economy. So it gives a brief of description about the city, and the purpose of this chapter is to provide information about the city, so which is relevant and important for understanding the other chapters that are followed. Then this chapter includes one or two A4 size basic maps about the city and where are the main things located. Here we can also label them in the maps. Then second is development setting. It discusses the development activities of the city. What are the manufacturing, mining, fisheries, transport, housing, etc. and use of environmental resources by each activity sector in terms of type, quantity and quality of resources. It tells about what activity sector use the resources and how they use it, and that is environment setting. So examine the city's environmental resources and how the city's activity sector make use of and have impacts on these resources. Each of the environmental resources is separately analyzed in the following 5 sections. Then it is further subdivided in 5 sections. Characteristics of the resource, use of resources by activity sector, impact on the resource from activity sector, competition for use of the resource, and management arrangements. Then the last is environment management setting. EM setting has 3 main sections: key stakeholders, urban management structure or institutions, and strengthening urban and environmental management. So first is key stakeholder. It is very important to identify and discuss only those stakeholders that have significant roles in urban development. So the governmental sectors which modify the urban things, and the public sector, the big builders or like that. And second is urban management structures or institutions. It gives an overview of the city's organizational structure using 4 areas: basic organization and structure, information, knowledge, and technical expertise, and how it is applied and shared. Then the third is strengthening urban and environment management. So it discusses current or planned initiatives and efforts to strengthen the city's urban and environmental management system and to increase local ability to plan, coordinate, and manage sustainable urban development. So we will move on to next.
Started with mathematical modeling. So mathematical modeling includes linear, multiple, non-regression, and it is used for forecasting future-based information. So there are two types of modeling, exponential and logistic modeling. So using this concept, the population can be estimated for the future. So sensitivity analysis, it is a relative responses of outputs to changes in outputs. Then went through applications of remote sensing and GIS. So remote sensing is the process of sensing the geographical features remotely. And GIS is a computer-based decision support and planning tools which integrates data from maps and other auxiliary data. And then started with the environmental profile. So environmental profile, it consists of information of any city, developmental sectors or any activity. So the chapters of environmental profile consist of city introduction, and it gives high summary and selective introduction. Selective introductory information about the city. So in development setting, it discusses the development activities of a city, and in environmental management setting, so it has three main sectors, such as key stakeholders, urban management structures, and all institutions, and strengthening urban and environmental management.
And we move on to next section, environmental technology assessment. So it is an analytical tool used to help understand the likely impact of the use of new technologies in terms of cost, monetary benefit, environmental impact, and social and political impact. It focuses on the analysis of effects on the environment, especially on human health, ecological systems, and resources. It is explored as an analytical tool designed to ensure that decision-making process related to technology adoption, implementation, and use of sustainable. Decision making is normally tiered in sequence of multiple decisions. Multiple decisions often progress from strategic or policy level to plans and programs to specific project level decisions. So it is hierarchical decision making at local authority level. So decision on technology adoption, implementation, and use at local authority levels are often one-shot events. Instead, they are characterized by multiple sequences of decisions made across a tiered hierarchy, a process that is called disjoint incrementalism. Then the decision-making sequence starts with conceptual or strategic policy decisions at the apex, followed by semi-conceptual or semi-strategic plans and programs, culminating in detail of specific project-related decisions. So it is a type of hierarchy, as you can see. The first is at apex or top tier, it just starts with conceptual or strategic policy level. Then after that, semi-conceptual or semi-strategic plans and programs, that we move on to details. Then at local level, you can see the detail and specific project type related decisions. So at top tier, there are certain concerns that EIA are seldom done for decisions at this stage of decision making because it is for a whole group of projects. So EIA can be done, but EIA is not necessary at the top level. So EIA are seldom done, and EIA are not designed to meet the challenges of decision making as this year in part due to time constraints. EIAs are often commissioned too late to address issues that have been resolved at the top tier. So at top tier we can see just if certain problem arises, then we can just by modeling or something we can solve that problem. But when we do the detailed study, then we see that that problem arises again, but it is too late to address because now it is EIA in detailed study. It is not addressed at top tier. Then EIAs are very seldom used to challenge policy level decisions with the result that many issues are foreclosed when they are conducted. Then these are the difference and similarities between ENTA and EIA. So the first is ENTA. It is a strategic nature. As you can see, ENTA is top tier, so that it is strategic in nature, whereas EIA is project specific. Then ENTA is conceptual and EIA is detailed because it is top tier, so
Can you
conceptual.
explain with an example? Then it will be more easy.
And just we are so conceptual is a city is calculated. So a city is calculated. We made policy about the city. So we want more technical advancement. So ENTA is for whole city. We just said we want technical advancement. So it is conceptual. What we need for technical advancement, we say we build these and these projects in different. So this is ENTA. But for detailed study for each project, it is EIA. So, and it is not legislated, and EIA is legislated. It is flexible cluster because for top tier we can't say definite about something, and EIA is formal project. So in ENTA we have greater simplicity, but in EIA we have increased rigor. Then ENTA reflects strategic decisions, whereas EIA reflects project design and planning. It is about value judgment and it is about specific facts. And same as I before said, based on guesstimates. We can say that these will happen or these can be happen. But EIA is based on science or what will happen when we do the survey. It is EIA. Then scenario, it is specific prediction and other increased uncertainty. When we do for a bigger level, then the uncertainty will increase, whereas in EIA the certainty will increase. So for EIA, maybe you can internal to, but EIA is often an open participative process, and ENTA focus on suitable service delivery, whereas EIA focus on change. So there are some similarities between the
Then EIA is there. What is the difference?
So
Why you just give the example? What is the difference? You people are doing no.
Check.
Give an example.
So ENTA we see scenario for what we have, what is today or what will happen today tomorrow. It is a scenario based on ATA or consumption method. So today the progress of the city is like this, and tomorrow that will move in 10 years. Intertechnical employment will be done. But EIA will do the specific prediction because it surveys or three parameters which predict better than EIA.
Yeah, only based on that project. In that project, how it will be coming based on that project parameters. Okay, that graph or anything like that. But in the different one, that is the scenario based. In that particular project, that is based on that is historical based, business aspect based. You people are doing that part. Different scenario, policies, different policies based on what happened to this. They only just that concept. But in the EA is the everything is strategic, is everything policies is there. Then historical any place that don't have to pay to then business scenario. Is the proper.
These are some
Okay, let me put up an example after my understanding. Suppose a city needs a metro. So we can use ENTA and EIA and arrive at a certain routing, certain stations. You can identify where the stations can be located and how the metro can be decided. Here if we use ENTA and in parallel EIA, we can have a best metro project for a city, reducing the pollution.
Do you agree with that? Did you agree with that? What is that? Huh? Did you agree? That is my question.
that both are
You are talking about ENT and DIA. Here the same as metro.
ENTA is more bigger than just EIA. And in conceptual,
Okay, you proceed. Let us see. When you ask summary, we will see that.
Can I give one example? For example, you have thermal power station. Okay. So for the entire project, you will carry out EIA. So you would have established that particular thermal power project. So after 1 year, the whatever the technology you are using for setup of that particular thermal power station, maybe the boiler, the technology might got outdated. So you want to replace those boilers. So what you will do is you will look at the various technologies available in the market and you will try to make a comparison. So that's why here it is saying non-legislated and also flexible and also it is considered as a strategic in nature. Why? Because you will use various strategies to understand the technology of a particular boiler and you will also understand whether it can be implemented in a phases or whether we can adapt the technology completely. So that's why the scenarios you will try to understand. Then you adapt the particular technology to be added to your existing system. So whereas A is for entire project, this A is specific for one particular technology replacement of the existing technology, whether it is available in the market is as per the standards what you have mentioned in the policy document. Okay. So this is that the technology oriented activity, which means you are going to be specifically looking for the alternatives whether there is any upgradation of the technologies available. Whereas A is an entire project specific. In the project, you will again look at the technology, but it is very limited as compared to the ENDA. ENDA is a separate tool to look at the technology.
Thank you, sir. And we move on to the similarities between ENTA and EIA. So the similar features are fact identification and assessment. This is the core element in the both of ALTA and AIA, and future orientation both predict or forecast as AIA predicts what will be happen. Future and ALTA, the technology, if we use this technology, but we the future outcome of that particular technology and technological focus. Sometimes AIA focuses on technology, but ALTA is all about technology and comprehensive, both aspire to be comprehensive as possible and scale. This is variable in both. So ALTA can be larger scale or small scale, and AIA also large scale or small scale, both are variable. The scale is variable in both the features. Then the benefits of ALTA. ALTA is a flexible, informal and voluntary tool that defines an appropriate approach to sustainable decision making. ALTA should be used to ensure increased efficiency and sustainability of both technologies. Eco-efficient technologies or environmentally sound technologies perform better across all the dimensions, including sustainability of technology selection, adoption and use, as well as the various stages of project execution cycle. So, we move on to the environmental risk assessment. So, risk is clearly defined as the combination of probability of occurrence of an event and the possibility of extent of its adverse effect and consequence in terms of economic loss or human life. Risk is related to hazards to humans from natural disasters and events such as traffic accidents and disease and chronic dangers such as cigarette smoking. So there are certain types of forms of risk. First is health risk. If certain company or policy are water or air, so it can be health risk, or smoking and cigarette or liquor is also comes in health risk. So then second is economic risk. Economic risk is such if you are investing our money in certain stocks or something, it can be positive or negative. Because if positive, if we are benefiting by that investment, it is positive risk. If we are losing, health risk, if we are smoking a cigarette, it is health risk to our
How in your project health risk, where health risk will come based on water pollution, based on air pollution. You are looking on the environmental aspects. That is the person smoke that one. That is the personal thing. Okay. Then smoking, then it will happen where again without the safety place, safety smoke or gas is going, then that is the problem. Okay, but here the what is the health risk? Because of water pollution, because of that particular project, what is the hazardous waste or solid waste? These are the things. Then different type of emissions are there. Then the construction, then there is also a lot of different things. You should not give wrong examples, okay? You don't know, you just ask start of the Bharat also is there.
and in ecological risk, and other forms of risk may relate to hazards from industrial process, safety of workers, effects of emissions from natural systems, flora and fauna.
You ask someone to summarize, no?
Go wish to know that.
Okay, Abhanna will do.
Environmental technology investment, likely impact monetary benefit, environmental benefit, social benefit, political benefit. Then we have scope of PMDA for the decision making levels within the urban. Then decision making and we identify areas of the example of decision at the time of decision making. Areas of the time is the challenges. Area to challenge policy. We saw 12 points in the form of table, where EMDA is strategic nature, EMDA is project specific, EMDA is at conceptual level, but EMDA will be very quickly. EMDA is not legislated, but EMDA is EMDA has a flexible procedure. But for EMDA, we have to EMDA is better, most simple than EMDA. EMDA replaces strategic decision and EMDA replaces project decision. EMDA values judgment, EMDA values specific. So, there is an example of it. That refers to project specific, but to understand the type of analysis then that is scenario based. So EMDA may be used as an internal thing. EMDA is often as a component. EMDA focuses on component service delivery and KA focuses. The similarity between KA and EMDA were. So the core element in both is impact identification and assessment. Ready for forecast future. Sometimes KA also focuses on technology. Both that we have companies responsible to scale varies. We then move on to see the benefits of EMDA. It is flexible, informal, voluntary, for sustainable decision making. EMDA is also used to ensure increased efficiency in and then we move on to environmental risk assessment. Where I will explain about the risk, which is a combination of probability of occurrence of extent of the system, adverse effect and consequences in terms of economic development. Under the types of risk, we talk about health risk. Since we have given an example of long-term pollution in a water body to do to the population around the and then economic risk, technological risk.
Moving on to mathematically, this can be extracted as this is equal to probability of some event multiplied by seriousness of its consequence.
An example of that. Suppose this room, on this room, on the base of this room, can you give me an example of this risk?
This is real.
I will help you. Take this as an example.
So suppose that if someone coming from here, so what is the probability of that sitting falling into that height and the seriousness of its consequences? Either he died because of that or just died in it.
So
No one will die.
that the fulfill of the first sentence which is there is the occurrence of the event and possible extent of adverse effects.
So the seriousness of its consequences. Environmental risk management in industry. So, environmental risk management in companies is fairly different phenomenon. Depending on the timing of the damage, this can be immediate or delayed. Either it is immediate if the gas leaks in certain company. So it can affect immediately to the people, and to some people it is delayed reaction because of the radiation or genetics, and the risk can also be voluntary or involuntary. Involuntary, we are doing ourselves the risk, or involuntary, if
Saying opposite. Voluntary is you are indirectly, you are intentionally doing it.
yes,
For example,
we are doing ourselves the
comes under voluntary.
involuntary.
Involuntary is if there is a factory
That
which is emitting some hazardous gases. If you have considered how you don't have any choice to move from that place. And this bunkers are located next to the some factory that is involuntary. Okay, voluntary is if you want to smoke and if you want to take the risk, that is voluntary. But what you are saying is involuntary means taking the risk. No.
Voluntary, I am taking the risk. And involuntary, the risk is I do not have any chance or any way to do that, reduce the risk.
You don't have your own control on that. Involuntary.
Yes.
Involuntary means you have own control on that basis. Like the involuntary and voluntary movement used to be there on some of the species. So how they involuntary and how they voluntary is there. So some of the species they voluntary, that means they walk like this or something. So that is voluntary, intensely there. And some unintentional there, involuntary movement. That is not called by us, or not intense in that context.
And risk can be represented in two different forms, individual risk or societal risk. So again, individual risk, if I am smoking and drinking, it is individual risk, or investing certain stock, it is individual risk. But as societal risk, it is about a project and what we are polluting the environment, it is societal risk. Individual risk is the frequency with which an unprotected person is affected by a specific type of risk. Whereas societal risk is the relationship between the frequency of accident and the number of people injured or killed by that accident. Then programs dealing with risk, to what extent can they be considered maximum acceptable level, or how to reduce the risk and benefit against cost and societal risk. So it is again how to reduce risk with balancing the cost. If you are reducing the risk, then it is comes with a cost. How can we clean the contaminated water, or how can we keep, we have a company. So we are releasing such bad forms of water. So to clean that water, we have to invest some money on it. So we have to balance that cost will come in our pockets, or the society will not harm by that. So we have to balance these things. And some generalized environmental risks are injurious effects suffered by a person as a result of exposure due to activities of a company, which can be expressed either as individual risk and or societal risk. Non-compliance with regulation, it can result in substantial penalties and fines. So it is, if a company is not following the law, or how much it is releasing the carbon in the air, so it is non-compliance with regulation, which can be, if someone believes that if certain company is harming the environment more than the regulation, then it comes in this form. And third is loss of reputation, business and market share. If we saw that some years back that the Maggie, inside the Maggie there is that substance. So the share of Maggie at that time drops drastically because of the reputation loss, business and market share. The general process of risk management can be subdivided into three main phases. First is risk analysis, in which it was the identification of hazard to people and the environment, the determination of the probability of the hazard happening, and the assessment of the seriousness of possible events. Second is risk assessment, which means defining the limits or acceptability of the risk, which can be classified as acceptable or in need of reduction. Its main purpose is to define the company's reference to safety policy. The setting of risk limits to companies is a management process. And third is risk control. How to control the risk? It involves the design and implementation of risk reducing measures and control to achieve optimal allocation of a company's resources. How to optimize the resources the company has and to reduce risk by that of resources. Risk control in a company can be achieved by measures affecting the layout of different production facilities or clusters, the application of additional safety devices, and the choice of less hazardous activities. Thank you. So, analysis is identifying what is harming the people or the animal. It is the analysis. We identify these things. And this assessment is the we identify those risks, and after that the limits of accessibility, that how much risk we can let that happen. So it is assessment. So it is in the company's policy. So this is that we are saying if a company throwing the contaminated water. So we know the risk is contaminated water. But how much contaminated that water they releasing, they will show in the policy. We will release these whatever the that is assessed. And ecosystem, there are two approaches for risk assessment. Ecosystem approach to risk assessment. Ecological assessment in the determination of harmful impact at the population, community, or ecosystem level, and may entail field study, laboratory study, or so. Most ecological assessments have focused on measuring structural components of the ecosystem, including the size and makeup of the habitat, biomass, and standing crop of important plants and animals, the abundance and diversity of plants and animals, and other measures. And in this functional assessment, it is useful for understanding the ecological health and sustainability of wetlands. It includes hydrological and storage, biological productivity, biochemical cycle and storage, decomposition, and wildlife habitat. It integrates key evolution level wetland processes, can be used as metrics to compare facts and quantify function loss when compared to different wetlands of the same hydrogeomorphic classification. One of the main strengths of this approach is that it follows the risk assessor and risk manager to identify and resolve problems in the context of what a wetland does on the landscape. Then we have risk estimation. So it refers to the estimation of the potential impact of the outcome or consequences of an exposure or an receptor is estimated. The types of damage caused by sudden release include acute toxin effect through thermal contact and inhalation of fumes burnt from fire. Chronic health impact on humans caused by exposure of low-level release of chemicals during day-to-day operation. These are certain chronic diseases that can be happen because of these solid releases from the company, such as neurotoxicity, mutagenicity, genicity, and carcinogenicity, memory loss, teratogenicity, and sensitization. Yes. Then the dose response relationship is fundamental to the concentration of toxic effect. I.e., here at direct relationship between the exposure index and the duration of impact and the severity of the toxic impact. So this is saying that dose and response relationship. So that direct relationship between exposure index, the duration of intake, that how long we are intaking that particular water air that released by that company, and the severity of the toxic effect. There is direct relationship between these two. If we inhale the air for a long time, then the severity of that effect, that the disease will be having, that will take the long effect. Carcinogens then can dominate public health risks. When they are present, it is important to differentiate between chemicals that induce cancer and those do not. So they are true that what is genotoxic, carcinogens that operate through an initial effect on DNA or chromosomes that initiate cancer, and not genotoxic, carcinogens that operate through chronic cell death. So genotoxic is that effect on DNA and causes cancer, whereas non-genotoxic that occurs through chronic cell damage, that damages the cell. And the health risk to individuals is estimated separately for carcinogens and non-carcinogens. For non-genotoxic carcinogens and non-carcinogens, the ratio of calculated intact for relevant accepted daily intake (ADI) or tolerable daily intake, the ratio is estimated using the large intake. So it is saying that the genotoxic which causes the cancer, and the non-genotoxic or non-carcinogen. So we measure these two differently.
You ask, you can choose someone. Darwin will do.
Started with environmental risk management in industry. So this can be voluntary and voluntary. So this can be represented in two different forms. The environmental risk management in industries has the problems dealing with risk. So it shows to what extent can they be considered. We don't have to balance that cost. The general process of operation management divided into three analysis, risk assessment, and risk control. Ecosystem approach to risk assessment determines harmful population, community, or ecosystem level. So this estimation means it refers to estimation of the outcome of consequence of exposure or for agriculture. So carcinogens tend to dominate. It's important to differentiate between chemicals that induce cancer, those that do not.
So there is an example for like saying that non-carcinogenic the relevant accepted data intake ADI or tolerable data intake ADI. So for dating convention, which is accepted? Which is acceptable in the society?
So between these three types, which is acceptable. We can say that these three all are harmful because they have an adverse effect on the health. But the genotoxic which cause cancer, so this is more harmful. After that, non-genotoxic. Third is non-carcinogenic. So we can say non-carcinogenic is less harmful than these two.
Which is not possible.
Yes.
In that fish, the fisherman will use that fish. Okay, we will also go and buy that fish. In that particular fish, because of different type of hazardous thing, we will use the fast paper that is Balantur is given that the hazardous like heavy metal contamination. Okay, in the particular thing or cadmium or zinc like that, we wanted to check that the fish or how much is the contamination, how much is the thing. We will look at the particular area. That's why we start studying about that particular area in the Balantur and Balantur area. So he is talking about that because of that water, then each area that area is being contaminated. We can't use that for consumption. So we need to restore that lake. Okay, that is Balantur and Balantur. That's why, because of some report that rejuvenation and everything did happen. So in this year, why they are given the like that, we can take some amount of zinc, some amount of cadmium, some amount of strawberries. It is okay, but acceptable. More than that, it will be coming. Then it will be, it will be very severe, and it will be in human and or animal. Everything it will be contamination. It will go to the other health risk. So, how we will look the carcinogenic and already that we have the index value, because we will look the heavy metal contamination based on that. How much is the consumption in the daily basis? How much gram or how much we are in the case of fish? How much, or in the case of meat? How much gram we are taking? That wise, in the equations are there. In that wise, we will check it. That is based on that industries who all are yesterday Madam told us that auditing people and all. Then they will find out what are the things, what are the problems are there in the particular area. They will analyze that water sample, they will analyze that feed sample, then vegetable samples of the things. Then they can understand because of these industries that what happened to this. We can daily use that, or it is the risk, or that in the particular area. And just given that wet handling, but in the particular based on cost, everything it will be in our environmental basis. What are the things? We will look based on the carcinogenic that hazardous indexes. Okay.
We need to compare with the standard values and how your body, how food supply level is getting accepted. For example, take the air pollution. There are so many pollutants already present in the air. Which is not has considered on standard.
comes from standard up to this level, the body will be able to accept the extent of pollution. If it passes the threshold, so then your body is trying to respond in different the same as the intake is the standard which is set. So daily intake will be compared with the actual value and try to find out how what up to what ratio your body is able to accept the particular hazards. So and it is not considering of the carcinogens. It is not carcinogens. Okay, you should not take the carcinogen contaminants into the consideration for the management. So it is not carcinogen management. Which is not carcinogen can be allowed up to some extent. The carcinogen should not be mentioned health risks.
Five is there, five is on the scale of 10, acceptable value is 5. But if suppose 4.5 is also going or 5.5 is going, so that is tolerable. Thank you.
What is dynamic? Starting with the dynamic.
Yeah. So static risk is we know that it will be having negative impact on us, or the risk is having negative impact. But dynamic is that it can be positive or negative both. So I will give the same example. If I invest my money on certain stock, so it can be positive or negative. So if I am profiting by that, it is positive. If my money is good, so it is negative. So it is the risk is moving. So that's why it is dynamic risk. Static risk is I know that will have adverse effect on my possession or my health. That's why it is static risk.
So dynamic risk can be like landslide can be considered as a dynamic risk. So static risk can be like what someone mentioned of the problem. So landslide and earthquake also can be dynamic. So maybe if you are staying in a specific zone, so you are trying to get the so that is and this is not continuous. It might happen once in a while. So you have to face the that could be the
Rapid environmental assessment. So this methodology consists of 3-step process. As under first is measurement. This involves data collection through an urban environmental data questionnaire, and second is observation. This involves the preparation of an urban environmental profile using data from the questionnaire, which we get previously, and research assistance from local investigators, and thirdly, validation and action. This involves discussing of the results through a series of consultations culminating in a priority cover workshop. This 3-step process is adopted to enable local experts and citizens to rapidly assess the state of the environment. Then application and scope of RUPA. The process of RUPA, data collection, profile and consultant, and provide an information and consensus basis for preparing an urban environmental management strategy with a view to accelerating the improvement of environmental conditions in cities. The urban environmental management strategy builds on existing factors and project work, but emphasizes continuity in decision making to implement agreed policies and approaches. This should provide decision making framework for private investment while recognizing that the investment is primarily private by household and firms. Then eco mapping. What is eco mapping? Eco mapping is a visual and easy to use tool that enables employees to get involved in environmental management in a company. Eco-management is a roadmap of a site, a shop law, a workshop, etc., which can lead to improve the environment management. Because there is a hub, so we want to implement that. We can just in a remote site, we can sketch the whole wall. So these are some use of the definition and inventory of practices and problems. A systematic method of conducting an on-site environmental review, a collection of information that shows the current situation, building pictures of what and awareness raising to a do-it-yourself tool for SMEs, a tool that allows employee involvement and participation. So, eco-map can be used to determine these things: a site in its urban environmental context, consumption of water and discharge of wastewater, storage of flammable, dangerous or hazardous substance in relation to groundwater, and emission of air pollutants and dust, odor and noise. Consumption of energy. These all can be done with the help of eco-mapping of a project or company. So, what involves in eco-mapping? So, mapping of the urban situation, make a map of the site. It is mapping of the urban situation, then mapping of site. Draw the outlines of site using a scale and show the integral space, and third is developing symbol. We can develop symbol for different types of things. As in this room, we can show points for chairs and square for tables or figures and for tables.
Software is there for that. Eco-mapping, how they will do that?
We can do in hand.
And manually we are doing.
Manually we can store in Word.
Yes, there were no softwares. Now using CAD and such kind of software, we can design this. Even a simple JS also we can use to design the eco map. Earlier there was no such software available. If it is like a small scale company, they cannot afford to use the technology to depict the environment in their organization. So they can use some simple A4 sheet to represent the facilities and the problems of risk with respect to the entire setup. So they can use this kind of simple tool. It's just representation to a layout to create awareness in all the staff.
We started this session with discussing about the ecosystem approach to risk management. We discussed the functional assessment, which is useful for understanding the ecological health. Then we discussed about the risk estimations with an example of carcinogens and how they are. Then we discussed about what is the hazard index, what is AEI, and what is the tolerable daily index. Followed by which we discussed about the rapid urban environment assessment. So, rapid environment assessment is mainly a community focused thing, where we are using descriptive methods like measurements, observations, validation, and actions. We also use as a tool. Later on, we moved to something called as eco mapping. So, eco mapping is we can call it as a layout plan of industry, which shows the existing features so that all the employees who are involved in the industry can get an idea as to where exactly the things are found. Just for example, where the variables are stored, or where there is a chance of emission of air pollutants, or where there is a wastewater management system in the industry. And eco mapping can be used for mapping of local situations, mapping of any site, and whatever the eco maps we are constructing, they should have the date, name, reference, as well as the eco mapping can be done either manually based on the scale or it can be done in a software. And the private better to use of symbols as a representative with eco map. Thank you.
Environmental education. The components of environmental education are awareness and sensitivity to the environment and environmental challenges, knowledge and understanding of the environment and environmental challenges, attitude of concern for the environment and motivation to improve or maintain environmental quality, skills to identify and help resolve environmental challenges, participation in activities that led to resolution of environmental challenges. So these are for people what education they have about the environment and what awareness they have about environment. So it is because if we have the knowledge of what can be the adverse effect of certain factory or certain process, so we can protest about it or we can modify it so it does not harm the public, and it is the skills to identify and help resolve environmental problems. If we have the environmental education, then we also have the skills to identify the environmental challenges and to help the resolve, how to resolve that particular challenge. Then there are certain aspects we will be discussing: protecting human health, lead poisoning from paints and pipes, air pollution, pesticides in water and food supply, increased threat of cancer from depletion of the ozone layer, and other environmental and health issues are veritable cause for public concern. Advancing quality education, improvement are needed in the nation's public education system to enhance student learning. Need to strengthen core subjects, improve critical thinking and problem solving skills, and many educational scholars and practitioners agree that students are not doing well at reasoning, analyzing of problem solving. So, how we advance quality education? So, we can add certain chapters or a full present subject in the students which are growing and in their growing state. We can educate them about environment and health risk for them and the public. Creating jobs in the environment. Environmental education and training can help ensure an adequate supply of well-trained environmental personnel to deal with the nation's increasingly complex environmental challenges. If the people know what are the consequences or how can we resolve certain environmental problems, or they have environmental education, then that training can help the nation also, because they will in future they will do the resolution of environmental challenges, and promoting environmental protection along with economic development. Our future depends on the ability to use the natural resources in a sustainable manner. Sustainable development poses two fundamental educational challenges: to promote informed decisions that are conducive to sustainability, and to teach the benefit of integrating conservation with the need of economic development. So we know that we are progressing economically very rapidly, but economical improvement is important if we are conserving our environment also. Then with the sustainable development, we can move on to the faster growth and encouraging stewardship of natural resources. So interest in protecting the nation's natural resources, including species and their habitats, arises from the respect both for the nation's past and belief in its nature, in its future. To increase the understanding that the health of individual species can be a strong indicator of the health of the entire environment, and that biological diversity has ecological and economic importance. Suppose if we do a factory or build a factory in water or air pollution can harm the animals there. But if we educate them beforehand that by harming these animals, tomorrow it will harm us also and public health. So with this we can educate, and it also educates the public about the impact of their actions on natural ecosystem and how positive steps taken to minimize impact on these ecosystems will translate into improvement in our overall environment. Thank you. I'm going to summarize the last part.
Very
environmental education now, creating awareness about the environment and giving a knowledge about understanding the environment and challenges and motivating the people to the quality of information and after that protecting human health because of pain, bites and pollution, skin cancer and poison increasing and advancing quality of education, giving awareness about environmental education. Then creating a job in the environmental field and promoting environmental protection along with the economic development.
finished. Okay, we'll take a break and reassemble. Okay. Thank you.